Hello, YouTube fans. This is TheSkullKlown. I'm not going to be here for a long time. I just want to mention this: Five Nights at Freddy and Chucky, right? Child's Play. Five Nights at Freddy. All right. So in Five Nights at Freddy, we've learned that these machines that we see in these restaurants are actually children. Like the bad guy killed them and put them in the and killed them and put them in there, and that's the way they died, basically. Um, how do you not know how great of a connection would it be if the Child's Play dolls were like that? And most people are like, what are you talking about? Not Chucky himself. We're not talking about Charles Lee Ray. I'm talking about the dolls themselves. What if they were like that in general? So that's why you have Tommy in the second movie. Then you could have another, other good guy doll like you see in part three. This is something we need to think about because in Five Nights at Freddy's, they point this out, and it's really very interesting. I'm not gonna say anything how it is in real life because I mean they already sold you it, so yeah. Mm. Go ahead and call me this and that, but they showed you it. Don't get pissed off at me just because I told you they showed you what the fuck is up. That's why I keep saying we gotta save our freaking women and children around here. We're moving on. Um, when you see that shit, and then you think about Child's Play, you think about the Chucky series overall, and you see these good guy dolls. Could there be an aspect of that? And then most people are like, no, man, they just regular dolls and stuff like that. But I'm over here like, guys, um, I get it. I know a lot of people might be like, you mean to tell me they can't be a person that puts a voice box in a voice and then put it there and then go into stores and stuff like that? I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But guess what? We live in a world that's not like that. You know why? Think about why some of these toys that had voices sold so much that people were crazy about it. Look at Talk Me Elmo. That shit was popular like crazy. More than the Cabbage Patch because the Cabbage Patch didn't talk. If they did, they probably would have got more moolah, and maybe there was an accessory of Cabbage Patch that did talk, but I guarantee you it wasn't as popular as Tickle Me Elmo. you know, who doesn't remember that? If you were a '90s kid or 1993 kid and beyond, you would know about the Tickle Me Elmo. You would know about that. I never said that I wanted one as a kid, but I'm just saying at the time when your folks started seeing that at the time, even if you weren't born or you were born at that time and you saw it and they saw it and they were like, "What the? I'm not paying for that." At the time, it was like $100. Back in the day, that was $100. Would you believe it? That's a steal nowadays. Back then, everyone was just like, "Fuck no, no one's not paying for that." Only the people that have that saved up their money or wait until Christmas, they're the ones that got it. Other parents, like my parents, were like, "No." Like if they wanted to get it, even then for themselves, they still would have never fucking get it. you know, some shit like that. I believe I don't think I need to look at my phone. That's why I need to get a new phone to like research all of this shit right now. Because that's how I am, guys. That's how I am. Because if I'm gone, I just like to be corrected and be like, okay, okay. But moving on, the Chucky series, the Chucky franchise, should go more in depth of what we see and kind of in Five Nights at Freddy, the movie, at least. I haven't played the game. I've seen people play the game, so maybe it's very close to what you see in the movie. I mean, there's a reason why they're going to make a sequel, right? So I don't think the movie was all that. I mean, the movie was fine. The what it was. I mean, I liked the movie, and there's a reason why a lot of people watched it, especially a lot of the what we quote unquote call the spiritual community. I'm not going to call it that, but some people might. So that's just me. We're moving on. Um, this, these two series have a lot to say. Five Nights at Freddy's says something, but when you look at the dolls from Child's Play in general, you think about all these voices, and how do you not know that they didn't end up like what you see in that in Five Nights at Freddy's? And most people like, then that means that this company's fucking corrupt. Why wouldn't it be? How come that company that's making these good guy dolls? Come on, we got a reference. I mean, we got a hint of the guy that created the good guy dolls, and which was great. And he's kind of corrupt. So how do you not know the company is founded by corruptness and voodoo in general? And most people are like, wouldn't it be some weirdness, some coincidence that yeah, the company's surrounded by voodoo-ness, but all of a sudden Charles is part of it too, and then he's ended up with it just by mistake? You could say, hey, it's a voodoo thing. They did something voodoo. Charles did something voodoo. Well, it just connected, like a double-edged sword, which is a bad thing because how many times Chucky has died over the over the franchise, which makes sense if it is a double-edged sword. You know? Oh, it's so good when you think about it. You could do so many stuff. You could do tarot readings in this series. I'm dead serious. You could do what you see in Twisted Metal Black when you have the Raven character having being a person that is into tarot stuff, right? And people make fun of that shit, and I'm all like, you guys are crazy. People talk shit about it and all that crap, and I'm all like, you guys are crazy. That's all I need to say about that. I'm not saying I'm scared of it or anything like that. All I have to look at you is be like, you're crazy. If you think that shit is a joke or you think it's a game, you're crazy. All right, I'm dead serious. That's all I need to say about that. But wouldn't it great? Just the imagination that you can have with the Child's Play series with it. Just think about it. You know, even Don Mancini has pointed out, wouldn't it be crazy if I mean, wouldn't it be well kind of stupid? He pointed out that hey, if he's using a voodoo doll, wouldn't he make other voodoo dolls of all these characters? Which yeah, it probably wouldn't be that hard. Or maybe it does. Maybe it is hard. We don't know in this Chucky universe. There's different types of universes and different types of movies that talk about voodoo, and they talk, and some of them you'd be like, oh, okay, it's easy as hell, but then in another movie, it's hard as fuck for some reason, you know? Because it depends if it's the villain. If it's the villain that's doing it, it's easy like this. But if it's the hero, it's gonna be like a struggle because again, it's storytelling. But at the same time, you still gotta question why. Just make it. Just like we know what it is. We've been through this before. Let's just hurry up. And I agree. I agree. I agree. That's why I like the character Sienna Shaw from the Terrifier movies. Because well, at least in Terrifier 1 and 3, I mean 2 and 3, because she's great in all the movies. It's just they didn't use her as much in 3, which I'm disappointed about. In 2, she is great. She is born to be part of the horror screen, and not just because how great she looks. She looks amazing. She's fucking hot as fuck. Let's just say that right now. But she is the perfect. She is literally. It's been a long. It's funny too because the director himself that made that movie literally told himself that he wanted a character that was kind of like that. He wanted to see someone that was like that in horror. I believe, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But to be quite honest, even if he didn't thought about that of like a character like that in horror, I did. I wanted a badass horror scream queen to be to the point that she literally fights all these motherfuckers. Like you can literally see Sienna Shaw fight Freddy Krueger and Jason, and she will make it. And I'm dead serious. Put Sienna Shaw versus Jason Voorhees. Sienna Shaw. I'm dead serious. I love Jason Voorhees to death. He's a brother. But at the same time, I'm looking like, are you serious? Versus her? After what you just saw in the second movie and then in the third movie with her, she can't die. She's a horror villain. I mean, basically, yeah, a horror villain. she has the survivorness of a horror villain, but she's not a horror villain. You know, it's amazing. It's fascinating, and I love it. You know, and there's no reason why we couldn't have any other characters that were like this. But Nancy almost kind of was like that. I mean, they brought her like 3 times in the whole series. Number one, three, and New Nightmare. If that doesn't tell you Nancy is immortal, then I don't know what is. Oh, but New Nightmare was just about. I don't care. She still had to become Nancy, did she? Yeah, exactly. Nancy all the way through. Don't correct me because I got you. I got receipts. It's true. Oh, but she doesn't become Nancy like 5 minutes in. And she's still Nancy. She still acts like Nancy throughout the whole movie in New Nightmare. Why? Because the Freddy the Freddy aspect is seeping into that ward. So automatically she's becoming it without realizing it. And you guys don't know. It's some not all of you guys. Some of you guys don't notice that. I just don't understand. I don't understand. I don't get this. How can you not see that? That's perfectly storytelling right there. Oh, I just didn't see it. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people that did see it and they still went like this. you know? And I'm over here like, I get it. I get it. It's probably not your thing, and that's fine. But when you tell me that it doesn't really progress anything, no. If you look at that movie, it actually progresses a lot. But that's just another story for another day. Look, at the end of the day, that movie's a Hansel and Gretel story. Let's just say that. Um, which I don't mind. Freddy Krueger with Hansel and Gretel elements, like why they didn't do that in the beginning, a long time ago. It already seemed like it was a shoe in for a Freddy movie, but we didn't get that until the 90s. Why? Why? Think about that for a minute. A Hansel and Gretel story that's perfectly fitted with Freddy Krueger, but then all of a sudden we don't get that type of story until later on in the series. I when you really think about it like that, it kind of tells you what was the creativity, what was the mindset. Oh, there's always different directors and shit like that. I don't care about that. What was the mindset? Just what was the mindset? What was the mindset? I don't care if there's different directors. What was the mindset of you going in instead of thinking that, hey, Hansel and Gretel story, there it is, and you don't even have to do a Hansel and Gretel story. You can look at it and be like, holy shit, Freddy is the witch of Hansel and Gretel. Oh, I got this. It's easy storytelling. It's right there. You know, but people kind of disagree apparently. I don't know. Some people don't like the Hansel and Gretel Freddy Krueger. Well, mainly because his look. If his look was better, I guarantee you. If look, some people don't like the witchy factor of Freddy, but I guarantee you, if they did do the exact same witch style that you see in the Hansel and Gretel book, you would be like, oh yeah. To be honest, you see how in Freddy vs. Jason, when he goes to Laurie, I believe, and he's all red and all that, he has that spikes ears and fangs and all. That is the Hansel and Gretel look. That is the perfection of what it's supposed to look like. That's what it's supposed to looks like. At least for me, it would make sense. It would just make sense. That's just me. Um, I think that's it. Tell me what you guys think down below about the whole like Five Nights at Freddy's and the Chucky stuff. And the other shit that I talked about in this video, even though it was supposed to be more about Chucky and Five Nights at Freddy. But there was just other conversations in my head that I wanted to talk about because, well, there's other, I mean, I just love this stuff. I love horror. Horror movies. are pretty cool, are really cool. I've been watching them since I was a kid, and to be quite honest, there was a time in my life that was the only thing that I watched. I didn't care about action movies. I didn't care about romance movies. I didn't care about Godzilla movies. That's crazy, because Godzilla movies are considered horror movies. Most people are like, "What are you talking about?" No, no, I'm sorry. Universal monster movies are considered horror movies. So Godzilla is considered a monster. Therefore, he's a horror. At least the first movie and Godzilla minus one. The other ones are just fun B movies. And that is fine. Even B movies have monsters, which is most would consider horror. It just depends who you are. Will you consider will you consider monster horror? Like if there's a monster in a film like Godzilla or werewolf or Dracula, like you see in the werewolf monsters, will you consider that as horror? That's different for a lot of people. That's very different for a lot of people. For me, it goes in the same territory to me. It all goes to the same shit. It just depends what type of if you're gonna implement horror as much, like you see in the Godzilla movies. Godzilla, the original movie, is a horror movie. Godzilla minus one is a horror movie. It's a horror movie. Good horror movie, by the way. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's a good movie. So is Shin Godzilla, by the way. Um, Not more of the humans, but more of Godzilla itself. To be honest, Godzilla is more cosmic horror in that movie. If you want to see horror, regular horror, you watch minus one and the original Godzilla. Japanese or American, but I say Japanese, please, because the American one, I watched the Japanese one and then the American one back to back. When I watched the American one, I was like, I tried, I tried, I tried. I turned that on. I heard him talk. I was like, Patrick. I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm sorry, I wasted too long here. I'll see you guys. Be safe.